While cleaning the stove, the boy discovered a piece of chocolate that hadn't melted yet. Taking advantage of his father's absence, he quickly unwrapped it and popped it into his mouth. This was the first time Wonka had ever tasted candy since birth, and he was utterly captivated by it. From then on, whenever he had pocket money, he would secretly buy various candies and hide away to savor them in private. After tasting each flavor, he would write down the candy's characteristics. A year later, a peculiar idea suddenly occurred to him. He told his father he wanted to open a chocolate factory, but his father, being a dentist, despised candy more than anything. He immediately rejected Wonka's idea and declared that if he so much as touched candy, Wonka would never see him again. Yet Wonka's mind was made up. He packed his bag and left home. Drawing on his 6 years of life experience, he traveled from country to country, but when he returned after completing his studies, his stubborn father had moved the entire building away. Now homeless, Wonka became even more determined to open his chocolate factory. 15 years later, Wonka's chocolates had taken the world by storm, and he had built the world's largest chocolate factory, a real chocolate factory. An Indian prince became so obsessed with Wonka's chocolates that he paid $1 billion to have Wonka build him a chocolate palace. Everything visible, from the bricks to the furniture and fixtures inside, was crafted from chocolate. The prince was delighted with his chocolate palace and decided to live there forever. However, Wonka chocolate's popularity made his competitors green with envy. They spent fortunes hiring spies to infiltrate the chocolate factory and uncover its secrets. But ultimately, while these competitors could replicate the shapes, they couldn't match the exquisite taste. The presence of spies led to the Wonka chocolate factory's sudden closure without warning. 3 years later, smoke suddenly billowed from the factory's chimneys, and the machinery inside whirred back to life. Strangely, though massive quantities of chocolate were shipped out daily, not a single worker was ever seen entering or leaving. One evening, swarms of little people suddenly poured out of the factory, riding bicycles and distributing flyers everywhere. This was Wonka's plan, 3 years in the making. He had randomly placed 5 golden tickets inside 5 chocolate bar wrappers, then randomly distributed these bars across the country. Any child who found a golden ticket would have the chance to tour the Wonka chocolate factory and enjoy unlimited chocolate. The child who made it to the end would receive a mysterious grand prize. The announcements sent the world into a frenzy. Wonka chocolates were snatched up the moment they hit the shelves. Visiting the Wonka chocolate factory was virtually every child's dream. One little girl wanted a golden ticket so badly that her father spent £200 million buying every chocolate bar in the city. He then assembled all his workers to frantically unwrap the chocolates around the clock. Unsurprisingly, she got a golden ticket. The second ticket went to a boy genius who calculated the factory's chocolate production schedule to determine the exact batch and location coordinates of the golden ticket. The third ticket was found by a gluttonous boy whose 3 meals a day consisted solely of chocolate. He was fortunate enough to eat his way to a golden ticket. During his interview, he couldn't resist continuing to munch on chocolate. The fourth ticket went to a blonde girl for whom winning was everything. She had to be first at everything, just like the hundreds of trophies displayed proudly in her living room. Just 3 days after the announcement, 4 golden tickets had found their owners. Only one remained. This left Charlie, a boy from the slums, deeply disappointed. But before we continue, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe if you're new here. He knew his family was far too poor, all 7 of them crammed into a dilapidated house. He only got chocolate once a year, on his birthday. But this year, his parents brought his birthday present home early. Everyone knew the odds were slim, but they still hoped for a miracle. Charlie, worried about disappointing his family, wanted to wait until tomorrow to open it. But the elderly relatives couldn't wait. Under his family's expectant gaze, Charlie peeled back the wrapper. No miracle occurred. Disappointed, Charlie shared the chocolate with his family. The next day, his grandfather, refusing to give up, secretly produced money he'd saved for 20 years and sent Charlie to try his luck again. Charlie excitedly brought the chocolate home, but unwrapping it brought only more disappointment. Standing before the factory's locked gates, Charlie took a deep breath and imagined himself entering the factory. 2 dog walkers passed by, mentioning that the newspaper had just reported the 5th ticket had been found. Charlie's dream was completely shattered. On his way home, he spotted a $10 bill fluttering in the roadside snow, as if Lady Luck herself were waving at him. Without hesitation, Charlie rushed to the nearest shop. The owner took the bill and casually handed Charlie a chocolate bar. At that very moment, the newspaper revealed that the previously discovered 5th ticket was a fake. The real golden ticket was now in Charlie's hands.
It's a golden ticket. You found Wonka's last golden ticket.
Charlie could barely breathe. Customers quickly crowded around, one offering $50 for the ticket, another immediately raising the bid to $500. The kind shop owner quickly stopped them both and urged Charlie to hurry home. Charlie burst into his house with the news. Seeing the golden ticket, Grandpa let out a whoop and leaped out of bed. His legs no longer hurt, his back no longer ached. He felt instantly younger. After the excitement died down, Charlie became unusually calm. Someone was willing to pay good money for the golden ticket, and compared to touring the factory, his family needed money more. But Grandpa Joe disagreed. Money, there's plenty of that in the world. they print more every day. But there are only 5 of these tickets, and there'll never be any more. Only a fool would give up this ticket. As for life, well, it'll get better bit by bit. This was perhaps the most valuable lesson of Charlie's life. At his age, doing what he loved mattered far more than money. Finally, the 5 lucky children and their guardians entered the factory under the world's watchful eyes, at last meeting the mysterious Wonka. He wasn't what they'd imagined, wearing outrageous glasses, his face so pale it was almost blue-green, even somewhat frightening, but the chocolate factory of their dreams was truly incredible. Wonka explained that to create the smoothest chocolate, he used a waterfall to churn the hot chocolate, creating the chocolate river before them. Moreover, all the varied plants they saw, including the green lawn, were made entirely of chocolate. Wonka warmly invited everyone to taste whatever they liked, but they didn't know that this fairy tale world was actually the children's testing ground.